Hello, I'm Waffles Are Better. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to use the surface rule parameter, which has been added in 1.18 to replace the 1.16 and 1.17 surface builders. And so basically this is going to allow you to change what the surface of your biome looks like in 1.18 Java Edition Minecraft. Of course, without a surface rule, your biome is going to look something like this. And of course that is not good because you won't be able to actually customize what your terrain looks like, and it will just be your default block. So surface rule is really important for getting your dimension to look the way you want it to look. So the first thing that you're going to want to do to add surface rules is go to your noise settings file and then just go ahead and create a field called surface underscore rules and then type in quotation marks surface underscore rule and then put a colon and then some curly brackets. Then make sure you put a comma after the curly brackets, and then the first thing that you want to put in the curly brackets is going to be type in quotation marks, and so the type is going to be Minecraft sequence. And then after the type, you're going to want to put a comma, and then you're going to want to put sequence. And this is just going to be a sequence of rules that determine how the world actually generates. So inside of the square brackets, inside of sequence, you're going to want to put some curly brackets, and this is where the rules for generating the surface of your world, or actually any of your world, is going to go. So you're going to want to put type in quotation marks, and then after that, you're going to want to put Minecraft. And there are actually several different things that you can put here. So you could always just do sequence and then make another sequence of things, but and then of course put sequence and then square brackets, and then inside of there do more stuff, and you basically have an infinite loop of that if you really wanted to, but that probably isn't what you're going to want to do. You probably don't need to put another sequence inside of your first sequence, but you might, it depends. So instead of sequence here, I'm going to put type is block, and then a comma, and then next you're going to want to put result underscore state. Then this is just going to be a block state provider, so you're going to just put some curly brackets, and in there you're going to put name, and this is going to be the name of the block. So let's just say you want this to be stone. Then you could just leave it as stone, or you could also make a properties section if you need to add some properties. So again, just like grass underscore block, and then since grass block has properties, you can just put snowy true, just as an example. And I believe this would just replace everything with grass blocks. And I believe this would just replace anything with grass blocks. But you probably don't just want to replace everything in your biome with a specific block, and this can be really useful for that. You can basically make anything you want out of this. This is how they're now doing Badlands stuff. So if you want to make stripes in your biome, or if you want to add a bedrock floor, which you probably want to add in your dimension, you're going to need that too. So first, I'm just going to delete this whole result state section. I'm going to change the type to condition. And so after condition, you're then going to want to put if underscore true. And this is going to be the condition that it has to follow to actually replace those blocks. So there are lots of things that this can be. The first one is you can put, of course, type to tell what type it is. So the first one is biome. And inside of biome, you're going to need to put biome underscore is, and this will just check what biome it's replacing the block in. So let's say we want to use frost icy underscore wastes. So this will just replace any block inside of frost icy wastes. Then you can also add multiple biomes to this, for example, just putting a comma, and then you could make it so a frozen ocean would also trigger this condition to be true. So if you wanted to use this and make it only replace blocks in a specific biome, you're going to want to put a comma after this curly bracket and type in quotation marks, then underscore run, and then inside of that you're then going to want to put type And this is just going to be another one of these surface rules. So again, it can be block, sequence, or condition. So you can probably see where this is going. You could have multiple conditions inside of each other. I'm not going to do that yet, but I will show you how to do that later, just to show you what it's going to look like. Inside of then run, I'm going to put type is block, and then result underscore state. Inside of that, just going to put the default name as Minecraft stone. So this should just replace any block in the biome with stone. I'm going to just show you what some of the other if true conditions are. So if you delete biome is, you can then change the type to noise underscore threshold, and what this is going to do is just basically randomize a position based on some noise. So you can do noise, and here you can reference a different file that has noise for your random placement. So for example, you can go to the noise folder in the vanilla worldgen files, and you could just choose one of these random ones. So you can either make your own file for noise, and that would just be in worldgen noise, and then it would have stuff like this, and I've explained how to do this before. Basically just it will make a noise map to help you with random placement of your feature, or you can just use a vanilla one, which is what I'm going to do. So that'll be Minecraft patch. So I'm just going to say the noise is Minecraft patch. Oops, I put path. So then after that, you're going to want to put min underscore threshold, and this is just going to be the minimum number it'll choose from the noise maps. So I believe in slicedlime's example, he gave 0.0, and then maximum threshold is going to be the maximum number, and this in slicedlime's example was 0.2. And so basically what min and max threshold are doing is just choosing where in the generated noise map it's going to be placing your stone blocks. And so you could just mess around with these values to change how it looks. And I feel like that's probably the best way to figure out what the best numbers here are. That is more for random placement, but if you go ahead and delete all of that, you can try the next type, and the next type is going to be y underscore above. And so then next you're going to want to put anchor, and this is just going to be a height anchor. I have also gone over anchors before, so this can be either absolute, and so this will be an absolute y level. So say you want to make sure that it is above y64, which is the sea level, or actually I believe 63, but this will just check if the block is above sea level. You can also do above underscore bottom, and this is going to just be how many blocks it is above the bottom of the world. So if it needs to be 20 blocks above the bottom of the world, then you could do that. And then the last one is going to be below underscore top. Then after that, there's going to be add underscore stone underscore depth, and this is going to be either a true or false value. And I'm not exactly sure what this does really, because there's no explanation for it anywhere, or not in slicedlime's videos, and there's nothing about any of this on the wiki. So there are a few things that I don't 100% fully know about in this video, and that will be in a pinned comment in the comments once I have those figured out. And then after that, there's going to be surface underscore depth underscore multiplier. And this I also don't know. Well, it definitely multiplies something, but that is for if you only want to set a block above a specific level. And then the next one is going to be water, and this is going to be very similar to the y above, except instead of anchor, you're going to be putting offset, and this is, I believe, -1 in all cases in the vanilla worldgen. And I think this is for testing if a block is like either next to or underwater or something, but I might be wrong about that. Again, there is not really any stuff talking about any of this. Then next is going to be the stone underscore depth type, and this is going to have add underscore surface underscore depth, And I'm thinking what add surface depth does is possibly adding the surface block to the calculation. So for instance, stone depth would be the depth of all the stone in the world, but the surface depth would maybe be what the top block is, similarly to the topmost block and the block below that were previously in surface builder file. But again, there isn't anything talking about this anywhere. And then after add surface depth, there's add underscore surface underscore secondary underscore depth. If the surface depth is what I think it is, then this could be the block that is below the surface. Then there's also offset, and this is just going to be an offset like before, so just say the offset is 0, and then surface underscore type. This is going to be whether you want it to replace the blocks on the ceiling or the floor of a cave or a surface. So you're probably going to want to put floor, because if you want it to generate on the ground, you know. Then the last regular one is going to be vertical underscore gradient, and this is just going to make a gradient of blocks, kind of like the bedrock floor. So you're probably going to want to use this one in your dimension instead of all of this stuff. So the last one with any parameters is going to be vertical underscore gradient. And this is going to have a random underscore name. And I'm not exactly sure what the random name does. I know in the overworld it's just bedrock underscore floor. I don't know if it actually does anything, or if this is just a name to distinguish what the vertical gradient is actually for. So here you're going to want to put false underscore at underscore and underscore above, and it tells you what the block above the gradient is going to be. And so you need a height provider for this. I'm going to put above underscore bottom, and this is just going to be 5 because I want the bedrock floor to stop 5 blocks above the bottom of the world like it does in the overworld. And then I'm gonna also put true at and below, and I'm going to go ahead and make this above underscore bottom as well, and I'll make that 0 because I want the bedrock floor to generate starting at the bottom of the world. So next there are a few different conditions that don't have any special parameters. So the first one is going to be above underscore preliminary underscore surface, and this is just going to tell you if the block is above the surface of the world or if it is below. And then there is also hole, and I'm not exactly sure what this does. It probably has to do with something in the noise. Again, I will post any answers that I can find in the comment section of this video. There's also going to be temperature, and temperature seems to only be used once in the vanilla worldgen, and that's saying something because the surface rule is super long for the overworld. I believe what temperature does is maybe align this to the temperature map. And then the last one is steep, and it doesn't specifically say this anywhere, but I'm going to assume that this checks if the block is on a steep surface, as it is used in stuff like mountains. Now, one more useful thing is the not type, and so then you're going to need, in quotation marks, invert, and then inside of there you're going to have another condition. So it's basically just going to be the opposite of this condition. So if you want the biome to be anywhere but a plains biome, then it would do something like this. I'm going to go ahead and set up a little bit of a surface rule for myself. So I have here a thing that will set up a bedrock floor for me. So as you can see, I have made deep slate generate and a bedrock floor generate. So the bedrock floor is just what I had before, but I made it replace it with bedrock instead of stone. So the bottom of the world will be fully bedrock, and up to the 5th block over the bottom of the world there will be bedrock. But above that there will be no more bedrock, and so this is going to generate a bedrock floor just like the overworlds. And then here I have a deep slate layer. This is making it so everything at Y0 or below is going to be deep slate, and everything at Y0 or Y8 and above is not going to be deep slate. And that's going to place a deep slate block with the axis Y, because deep slate does need that property. So I'm going to try this, and since my default block up here is packed ice, it should just create a world that's completely ice with feature generation, but without any actual surface blocks, because I haven't added that yet in the surface rule. So let me try that out. So I'm going to do /execute in frost to frost, run TP there, and I should see just an icy dimension. Yeah, so ice dimension with a bunch of packed ice where stone would normally be. So let's see, what biome is this? This is ice spikes? Yeah, this is ice spikes. You can see there are some ice spike-like features generating. And you've got lava lakes from the ice spikes, and this frozen, is this a frozen river? No, this is still ice spikes. All of this is going to be ice spikes. You're going to see features and mob spawning, but you aren't going to actually see any surface blocks. So looking in the overworld file, you can see that there are 3 curly bracket sections. First one is to make the bedrock floor, the third is to make the deep slate layer, and the second is to add actual biome blocks. What you're probably going to want to do is just copy all of this stuff, and then go to your dimension file. Then in surface rule, just maybe close these two, and we're just going to copy what the overworld does. There's an error here because it isn't closed, but I will fix that in a minute. So what you can see is it's checking if it is above the surface of the world, then it's going to make sure that it is on the floor of the stone. So just making sure that it is on the surface of the world, and then it's going to run a sequence of things. So to see what the sequence of things needs to be, you might as well go ahead and just go to the overworld file and look for the biome you want. So I'm going to look for ice spikes. You're going to want to copy the section that the biome is in and paste that down under sequence. So then you need to count the curly brackets and square brackets to make sure you got everything. So let me just organize this a bit. Alright, so you're going to want to make sure that after then run you've got a curly bracket, and then a curly bracket, and then a curly bracket, then a square bracket, then a curly bracket, then a curly bracket, then a square bracket, then a curly bracket, then a curly bracket. Make sure that all of these are closed, and then go up here and put at the top type equals condition. And then a comma. In then run here, you're going to put type equals sequence, and then a comma. And then you're also going to have to put type equals condition, and then a comma here, and then again in here, type is sequence, and I think maybe that's all of them? No, there's one more, block. And that is all of them. If you didn't get all this code, that is okay. I will have a paste bin in the description. So again, this is making sure it is above the surface of the world. This is making sure that it is on the floor of the world. And then this sequence right here is just for the ice spikes. It's making sure it's in an ice spikes biome, and if it is, then it is placing a snow block for the top block in that biome. So if I then go ahead and minimize all of that and then copy and paste it, I'm going to try to make the block that is under the top layer in the ice spikes be I don't know, just diamond blocks so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to set add surface depth and add surface secondary depth to true, because I think this will put it under the top block. If I just go ahead and change this to diamond block, I think that will do what I'm trying to do. So here I am in an ice spikes biome in the frost dimension, and as you can see, the top block is snow, and the block under that is going to be diamond blocks. And this will go down a few blocks, just like how it would in normal generation. So just imagine the diamond blocks are like the dirt, and the snow blocks are like the grass. So this is how you would set up the noise settings to have like a surface builder with a top block and a block below that. If you want to add rules for more biomes, so say I want to change this, say I want to change this to snow_block. So what if I want to add a biome for the icy wastes, which is the biome I have right here. If I go ahead and just copy everything in here in this sequence and paste it, and then change the biome name from Minecraft Ice Spikes to Frost Icy Wastes, right there. Then, so remember, this is the bottom block. Say I want the bottom block here. I guess I also want it to be a snow block. I can then go ahead and copy this sequence right here. Make sure it just goes up to this square bracket. And then paste it below. Change this to frost icy_wastes. And that should be good. If I then go ahead and save this and then run it. Here I am back in an ice spikes biome, but if I do /locate biome frost icy wastes and then teleport there, you'll see that this should look exactly like what the icy wastes used to look like. There aren't any icebergs though, because those were part of the surface builder. Wow, that's a lot of ravagers. I really need to tone that down. There aren't any icebergs because that was part of the surface builder, but I can add those as a feature, I believe. And again, I can just mine down, and it's snow all the way down, but then it becomes packed ice because it's what the default block is. Wow, there's so many of these guys. That's it for this video. If you have any questions about anything that I covered in this video, or if you have anything you want me to talk about in future videos, you can let me know in the comments, or you can also join my Discord server that is linked in the description and talk to me about it there. Again, thank you guys so much for 675 subscribers. It means so much to me, and thank you so much for watching.